Am I the silly bugger? It's a subreddit where you ask the question that everyone just wants to know. Are you a silly bugger? Yep. I'm really good at these intros. Again, making the same joke I've made in a lot of videos, but hey, who cares? Oh well, let's just... You know what? We're not using Philip DeFranco's intro today. We're gonna use a different intro, and tell me if you can recognize it down below. Hey, I'm Core, and in this video, we find out if you're the silly bugger or not. Am I the silly bugger for telling my sister to stop telling people that she has my illness to gain sympathy for being overweight? I, 22 female, have an older sister, 25 female. My sister is very sensitive about everything. When we were young, if I made the smallest comment like, I prefer pink over blue, it would make her cry because she thought I was aiming at her by saying it. My parents would always ask me to apologize to her since she's sensitive and I'm emotionally stronger than her. My parents never controlled my sister's diet growing up, letting her have what she wants since they found it too difficult to control her. I was skinny as a stick when I was a kid. So even though my family had a long history of thyroid disease, my parents didn't think there was an issue with me. However, my sister has been overweight the majority of her life, so my parents thought that she would be the one with thyroid issues. They took us to an endocrinologist when I was 10. I got a diagnosis for Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I don't know if I said that right, I've googled this, I've had a look online. All of it sounds remotely Japanese, so it's what we're doing. But my sister didn't, and instead got told to exercise and watch her diet. I got hypothyroidism due to Hashimoto's, and I've been on medication ever since. See, I don't know if I said that right. Don't roast me in the comments. I've looked and I can't find anything. My sister and I moved back in with our parents due to what's happening these days. I leave my medication in a cabinet near the kitchen since I know that I won't take it unless I actually have to get out of bed to do so. Apparently, I left a box when I moved out of my parents' house when I was a teen, and one of her friends saw it while they were over and asked if it was hers. My sister told them that it was, and that's why she's overweight. The box has euphorics written on it in big bold letters with a picture of a thyroid gland next to it. So yeah, pretty obvious it was meant for a thyroid condition. She's held up this facade for almost 4 years. I only figured it out when I saw her take a box out of my bag one day. I confronted her on it, and she started crying and telling me that she didn't want anyone to be mean to her because she's fat. She also says that it's not fair for the one with the normal weight to get thyroid disease. I'm just staring at her gobsmacked. She's complaining that she doesn't have an autoimmune condition. I tell her to knock it off, and that she can't lie to get sympathy from people. My parents talk to me later and say that I was too harsh calling her a liar, and she probably needs a therapist or something, and the classic, I should apologize since I'm more mature. They even tell me that they were hoping that she was the one with the thyroid issues as a child, so that they could justify her weight gain. I asked them, so you wanted your daughter to be sick instead of admitting that it's your fault because you bought her McDonald's whenever she wanted and never made her exercise. Now they're mad at me too. Yeah, you're definitely not in the wrong. This is one of those issues that just seem to be very deep-seated, and I would be willing to bet that your parents kind of knew about this before this came out in this way. Yeah, your parents seemingly want to blame their problems in their parenting on medical conditions, which is just so messed up. Like literally wanting their child to get sick so they could blame that. That is messed up. Yep, you're totally not the silly bugger. You're totally not in the wrong for being upset with your sister for basically saying, I want a disease because I'm too either lazy or I'm too not motivated enough. And quite honestly, who cares if you're fat? Like, unless you're severely obese, no one cares if you got a little chunk, you know? I don't care. The doctors might care a little bit, but that's because they're medical professionals and they know what's unhealthy and what is healthy. But seriously, who cares about a little bit of chunk? And if you want it gone, just work for it, you know? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the polls. I forgot to plug that at the start of my reaction to this story. But yeah, make sure to vote because YouTube is removing this feature soon. You know, apparently only like a very, very small percentages of channels use this feature, which I think is a lie. And I reckon if you actually look at the amount of interactions that these things get as a total on YouTube, it would be in the trillions. But that's okay, YouTube. You remove a feature that has no reason to go just because you feel like it. You feel like just making the platform a little bit worse. So thank you. Thank you, YouTube. I really appreciate it. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, YouTube. I don't mean it. I just have some, built up anger. And yeah, this is how I'm dealing with it. Just ratting on YouTube, you know, the platform that made me who I am today. I'm just gonna hate on it. Am I the silly bugger for farting around my boyfriend who hates farts? Yes. This is, out of all of the ones that I've scrolled through today, this is the one we're pursuing. Yes. My boyfriend of 8 months thinks farting is rude and gross and gets mildly upset with me when I fart around him. I think I should be able to fart freely without judgment, as we've been dating for a while and are completely comfortable with each other. We've also been living together for the past couple of months, which has been all around amazing, but how can he never fart? I fart multiple times a day, and I've only heard him intentionally and quietly fart once, ever, because I made such a big deal about it. Look, I'm just gonna throw this one out there. Why don't you just fart in the bathroom? Or in the toilet? Or hell, go for a walk, go outside, make a day out of it, you know? Your boyfriend doesn't like that, okay? He doesn't want to deal with it. It's a gross body function that, although we don't have complete control over 24/7, we do have enough control of it when we're awake to quietly excuse ourselves to a different room, to a bathroom, to go outside for just 2 seconds and let one rip, okay? So I honestly think you are the silly bugger, and I don't know, this one might be controversial, but I think you are the silly bugger. So enjoy your official title as a silly bugger. I can't wait for an ex-girlfriend to call me out in the comments saying, hey, you farted when we were together. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but it was never intentional. So yeah. Would I be the silly bugger if I didn't give my parents a year of a public relationship with my fiancé? Let me start out by defining public. We, 24 female and 27 male, are public. Anyone I care about knows about our relationship. The only people we aren't very public with it is my family. So by public I mean being open with my family. Important to know that we're an interracial couple. I'm white, he's black. Now let me explain why we haven't been public. We met in high school. I was a freshman and he was a senior. I had a huge crush on him. We texted and flirted, but nothing really happened. He lived in a large foster home, so no dates allowed. My parents told me he was too old. They told me I was not allowed to speak to him until I was 18, and my dad told him to never contact me again. When I left for college, we started chatting again and had our first date. I told my mum we were talking. She said to only date people with nuclear families, and not to talk to him until I was 21. When I corrected her and said it was 18, she told me she was going to drag me home by my hair. In my second year of college, we made it official that we were dating. I texted my mum before Thanksgiving break and that I wanted them to meet him. She harassed me about whether I was pregnant and refused to meet him. I told her in a crowded restaurant we're officially dating, and she got mad at me for hiding things. Over the course of the next couple of years, every time he got brought up, I could visibly watch her demeanor change. When I tried talking about him in front of family, my dad told me that they weren't ready. I eventually just stopped talking about him to them. Eventually, my aunt saw his profile picture of us on Facebook and figured it out. My mum says she assumed that we broke up because I wasn't talking about him. Now I'm moving, he's coming with me, and we want to get married after 5 years together. We both have our masters and I'm studying on my PhD. My dad told me that my fiancé and I haven't done good at being open about our relationship. When I mentioned how mum threatened me, his only response was, I didn't say there weren't reasons. He suggested that I give them a year of an open relationship in order to let the bad guys act like bad guys. I tried. They resisted, I stopped. I want my best friend with me when I take this huge step in my life. My mum and her family's position on interracial relationships and racism are quite clear-cut and explicit. I'm not exposing him to that, and I don't want to experience it. But is that insensitive? Would I be the silly bugger for not entertaining the idea of giving them a chance to get used to our relationship before we get married? No, I don't think you'd be the silly bugger for rejecting that silly proposal. I think your father is just rather immature, and I think he's looking for reasons for you not to get married with somebody that you clearly love very dearly, and that if what you're saying is true, it's probably racially motivated. I would imagine so. I don't know, maybe you should do like a sting operation where you try it with a white guy and see how that goes. I don't know. I don't know, that sounds like a real pain in the butt to pretend to marry a white guy, and you'd have to do it for a while too. Like, it couldn't be just something you could do next week. It would have to be something that it takes months in the making, years in the making even. But it'd be interesting. But I don't know, I feel like if you love somebody, just go for it, you know? Love is one of the most powerful emotions, and I wish you good luck. I truly do.